Samsung just hit a new all-time high in its stock price, up 77% this year alone. And the craziest part is, this rally isn't being fueled by hype from retail investors like it was in 2021. This time, it's big foreign investors piling in, betting that Samsung is about to become a major power player in the AI boom. That shift alone says a lot. When serious institutional money starts flowing into a company, it's usually because something fundamental has changed. And in Samsung's case, that change is tied to two massive trends: the exploding demand for AI hardware and a looming supercycle in memory chips. Put simply, Samsung, the company most people associate with phones and TVs, is being repositioned by investors as an AI infrastructure giant, right alongside names like Nvidia. So why does this matter? Because memory chips like DRAM and NAND are about to become one of the hottest commodities in tech. AI models don't just need powerful GPUs, they need enormous bandwidth and fast memory to process data in real time. That's where Samsung steps in. While SK Hynix has been in the spotlight as Nvidia's high-bandwidth memory supplier, reports say Samsung is now in final negotiations with Nvidia to secure its own supply deal. If that happens, it's not just a business win, it's Samsung planting its flag in the AI gold rush. And investors see it coming. Morgan Stanley just raised its price target for Samsung by 14%, expecting the stock to climb another 17% from here. They're betting that chip prices will rise sharply in the fourth quarter and continue well into 2026. In other words, demand isn't temporary, it's structural. AI workloads are only getting heavier, and every GPU farm Nvidia builds needs mountains of memory chips. That's where Samsung steps in. Having said all this, the interesting part is that the last time Samsung stock hit a record high, it was retail traders during the pandemic relentlessly buying the dip. This time, it's the opposite. Foreign institutional investors are steering the rally, likely tracking AI-focused funds. And when that type of capital gets involved, they're not chasing short-term hype, they're positioning for years of growth. But it's not just about memory. Samsung is quietly strengthening its strategic partnerships across the semiconductor space. Reports suggest it has renewed ties with Qualcomm and Intel, and there's even speculation that Qualcomm's upcoming Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, specifically a 4 Galaxy version, will be manufactured on Samsung's improved 2nm process. If Samsung Foundry really is securing trust from partners again, that signals a major turnaround in its manufacturing reputation, which took a hit in previous years when competitors like TSMC took the lead. And that brings us to what one analyst called Samsung's AI moment. For years, Samsung was seen as missing the AI wave, too focused on consumer hardware, while companies like Nvidia became trillion-dollar giants by supplying the infrastructure behind AI. That perception is changing fast. With Nvidia now valued at over $4.5 trillion, the market has clearly chosen which companies power the future. Now, foreign investors are looking at Samsung and asking a simple question: if AI is the new oil, who's supplying the pipelines? South Korea's entire market is feeling the momentum. SK Hynix is already up 146% this year, and the Kospi index has surged 50%. But Samsung's move is different. It isn't just following the market, it's being revalued. Investors aren't pricing it as a smartphone company anymore, they're pricing it as a core supplier to AI infrastructure. Of course, there's always the question of timing. After the surge, the stock pulled back slightly with some profit-taking, dropping a couple hundred won. But that's normal when a stock runs this hard. The interesting signal is that analysts and funds are still increasing their targets, not dialing them back. The takeaway here isn't about today's stock price. It's about a shift in narrative. Samsung's future growth may not be driven by the Galaxy S series or display panels. It could be driven by AI data centers, memory supply contracts, and advanced chip manufacturing. And if the memory supercycle plays out like analysts expect, Samsung could be at the center of one of the biggest hardware demand waves we've seen since the smartphone boom. This moment feels like an inflection point. If Samsung locks in Nvidia's supply deals, continues improving its semiconductor yields, and rides rising chip prices into 2026, the company could end up being one of the biggest beneficiaries of AI, right alongside Nvidia, not just supplying components for someone else's vision, but actively shaping the infrastructure behind the technology everyone's talking about.
Sometimes market moves are just noise, but sometimes they signal a deeper shift in how a company is perceived. And right now, the market is telling us Samsung is no longer just a consumer tech brand. It's becoming a key player in the AI economy. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.